Welcome to Mobile by May, a place where we explore historic architecture, architectural salvage, and real estate that tells a story about our city's history. Hey y'all, we're in Washington Square with the Big Band Society for the Mother's Day special. This is really one of the things we really love about being in Oakleigh, is you have all these kind of concerts and orchestras. They have weddings here in the square. And it's just a great way to get together. Look at all the people brought picnics and chairs and music. And it's just so much fun to be out here and just networking and meeting a lot of different people and some great food too. But this is part of the ambiance of being in the historic district. Look at this giant tree. Look at this beautiful tree here with the resurrection fern and all this lichen and moss growing on it. And just really beautiful. And then, of course, the square just surrounded with all kinds of awesome architecture. You've got Victorian and Greek Revival, bungalows. You've got all different styles of architecture, really rich history here. And then, of course, you got my son over here laughing. He's trying to photobomb my episode. So anyway, we thought it would be fun to include this with the rest of what we're doing with the Gardens Tour, because you got Gardens and Galleries, which we were just at last week, with all these beautiful houses and landscaping and beautiful flowers. And then you've got all this great music and everything with all these people. So we thought we'd bring my mom down here for Mother's Day and just kind of celebrate in the park. And appreciate y'all joining. Hey y'all, we're here at Washington Square with the Big Band Society with Chip Herrington. They're about to get ramped up here. And this is for Mother's Day special. So I brought my mom down, and it's just such a picturesque square here with these beautiful ancient live oak trees and the park with the fountain. And everybody brought, tables and chairs and food and drink, and just a really great time to just relax, enjoy a Sunday afternoon. Part of the ambiance we love about living down here. We have a real sense of community. We've got little babies and baby strollers. My son actually learned to ride his bike here in Washington Square. Hey, good morning, everybody. We're in Oakleigh Garden Historic District at a fabulous historic home with these gardens, which was on the Garden and Galleries tour. We thought it would be amazing to kind of showcase and feature all the different varieties of plants, the landscape, the design, all the different varieties and colors and textures. Just so much that goes into landscape design. And these owners were gracious enough to allow us to come and feature this. And we thought it would be cool to start out with the sidewalk. Look at these old Mobile bricks with all this moss kind of grown over it. It really kind of takes you kind of old world. And then it perfectly frames up this house with the columns and the railing with this beautiful white picket fence. And then look at the way that they've landscaped where it's kind of low in the front. And then they've got different accent pieces here with these spotted caladiums. And it's just got so many different varieties. We thought it would be kind of fun to showcase this underneath these giant live oak trees with this dappled sunlight. I mean, it's just a perfect greenhouse. And you're really in the heart of Oakleigh over here with these giant live oak trees, hundreds of years old. And so I love the way they kind of frame the house and showcase all of this beautiful flowers and blooms. And so it's just constant. We were here a couple weeks ago, and it's entirely different now because look at all the different flowers that are blooming now as opposed to they were before. I love these colors, these canna lilies and stuff. Look at this kind of a peach colored one. I've never seen one like that. And got all kinds of mixes of like evergreens and lilies and sasanqua and really a fine Japanese maple with that really fine leaf. And so this is what I enjoy. There's an expression about as is the garden, so is the gardener. And I love that because you can tell a lot by the owners, their creativity. They're well-traveled. They've got all these different types of plants. And then they've been able to make them all kind of work together where they all, it's almost like a symphony of flowers here. Look at these giant ones here. It's crinum. Look at this. Look how tall this is. Like a hybrid type lily. How beautiful that is. You've got all these pollinators with butterflies and hummingbirds, and look at this hibiscus here, the hibiscus plant. And I believe these are native to Hawaii. And then look at that color there. A lot of these peach colors with this ultra lush lawn. This is St. Augustine, which thrives in like partially shady conditions. I mean, look at these trees. Look at that one. And the way they kind of grow, they all grow together. Really amazing. But this is really neat. You've got a palm tree, which is so native to this area, with the live oak trees, but then all these different varieties. Look at this little fern here. How delicate that is. But it's really just a feast for the eyes. There's just so much to absorb and take in here. I tell you, one of the things that I love, look at these roots, how they've grown up. And then they kept this moss here. I think that's so cool. It's like a moss garden. It kind of looks old world, looks like old England or something here. And this is something you just don't see very often. Look at these bromeliads. So these typically would grow on the trunk of a tree. Look at all these different colors of bromeliads they have out here. And they just cover them with a frost cloth during the winter, because we're like subtropical climate down here with significant, like over 6 feet of rain or 5 feet of rain a year. But they cover those up and keep them out here year round. So kind of go back here in the backyard. It's just so much imagination and work. And, I just really appreciate all the thought that goes into creating all of this, because there's a lot of maintenance that goes into this with weeding these gardens. And, Cicero said, all one needs is a garden and a library. And I love that, because when you're sitting in your garden listening to the birds, reading a book, that's just food for the soul. Maybe a glass of wine. Maybe a glass of wine would be good. All right, welcome y'all. Coming into the side gate here. Look at this with the fleur-de-lis. This is, of course, a French symbol, and this represents the iris. So I love that, but it's a great kind of opening into this side garden here with all these different plants. And you've got some hydrangeas and all kinds of lilies, even some succulents. Look at these cacti here. And you've got this amazing, I love this little side garden with the old Mobile brick. Look how they made this design here. Almost like a Celtic cross or something design, with this beautiful cypress tree. That color pop just really adds so much to it. These purple flowers, and you've got some palm trees, and more old Mobile bricks back here. This area with the swimming pool is just to die for. I mean, look at this. All these potted plants. And this is what's so cool about living in the historic district. This was an old building that was used for officers during the Civil War by Confederate soldiers, and they relocated it and moved it here. And look at these old shutters and doors. Look at this key latch. I mean, this is amazing. This is an awesome little building. And so they incorporated this into their backyard, their garden design, and it just flows perfectly. So you've got the old and the new. You've got all these different flowers, and then I love the sound of the water. Listen to the way that it just tunes everything else out. The way that the water is moving around here, and you've got a really good privacy screen there. I'm not sure if that's tree ligustrum. Look at these hydrangea here. Got some purple, different colors. There's white ones, and super old. Look at this chimney. This is great, with that aghorn fern growing out of the side. Look at that. That's really neat how they did that. Love this. Look at this flower here. This Savinka, this purple. Of all the things in this side yard, look at how that color pops with that orange, like a canna lily back there. That's a super vibrant color. So they also created this beautiful greenhouse back here, and it's got hundreds of different orchids. Look at all the different colors. Beautiful fern. So this is a great place, kind of the nursery here. Allows things to grow when they're really tender and young. And I just love all of this with the gravel. And got this fan. It just keeps it nice and temperate in here. And what a great place to work. There's so many different hobbies. I mean, look at this orchid. I've never seen one like this before. Look at this yellow one. Just a real treat. And then they have a built-in sink here with this soapstone, which I love this with the built-in sink. And look up through the back, how beautiful that is. Kind of through that opening, framing up the house with all the different variety of plants. And that's one of the great things about living in Mobile along the Gulf Coast is we have such a wide variety of plants that can grow here because it is so temperate. We typically get below freezing a few times a year. You have to cover things up, but the rainfall and the humidity, it's just basically like a greenhouse. And we're here we are at the end of May. We're about to go into a brutal summer, so it's almost 90 degrees today. But what a treat. We thought we'd share this with y'all. We also had a concert in the Washington Square, the Big Band Society, an orchestra, which was amazing for Mother's Day. And so these two together is just part of what we love, living downtown in the historic districts and the rich architecture and plant life and music, just everything all together. It makes it a incredible neighborhood, and we love the community aspect of it. Y'all need to come down and visit. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions or comments or any suggestions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.